Welcome everyone to our first educational video brought to you by Totes and Notes. I'm Paul Cooper. I'm manager of Totes and Notes and Custom Solutions LLC. I'd like to ask you, if you like what you see and what you hear, please support us by subscribing. So our first educational video is going to be introducing a series called Real Estate F-Bombs you can drop at the kitchen table. The first F-bomb that you can drop at the kitchen table that has to deal with real estate is find. So when you get into the real estate business, you need to know what you're looking for. Whether that's REOs, mortgage game if you're going to do notes, if you're going to fix and flip, rentals, whatever you're going to look for and what you're going to deal with, you need to know what that is, and you need to focus on it. Second key point is, by focusing on it, you need to figure out what you want to do and then how you need to leverage your time for the greatest returns. Because you don't want to be just wasting all of your time and turn something lucrative into basically a minimum wage paying job, because you're having to spend so many hours on every little thing. And ways that you can leverage your time are by using technology, social media, networking. There are all kinds of good ways to use the internet to find the deals that you're looking for. Social media and networking are probably the biggest ways, and then you can use technology, use Google Maps, everything to help you do your due diligence, find different areas that you want to be in, get on the internet, find cities that are growing, that have a thriving economy, and different demographics like that will help you find out where you want to invest and help you find good deals. And the next big thing is you need to habitually mine for this gold. It's not going to fall into your lap. It's not necessarily hard to find, and once you get a system going, it's, you can almost put it on autopilot and use very little time to find new leads, but you have to do it on a regular basis. If you just do a few hours here or there and then you wait, get a deal or two done, and then you're twiddling your thumbs waiting for the next deal to come in, you've got to keep looking and working to find these deals. That's probably the hardest part. If you can get deal flow coming in, then generally everything else will be easier by comparison. And then the last thing for finding is you need to scale up and automate your system. You may be content with what you have going, and so maybe you don't want to scale up, and that's fine, but you definitely want to automate your system as much as you can. Give yourself more free time or more time to deal with other aspects of your business or investing, or everything else that you're interested in. Now, the second real estate F-bomb that you can drop at the kitchen table is fund. There are a multitude of ways to fund your deals. The most common one when people are starting out is usually personal. They're either funding it through their savings. You could be using your retirement accounts or their tax advantage accounts, cash on hand. Maybe you're getting a personal loan or a line of credit. But eventually, unless you're just already independently wealthy, you're going to run out of money for your deals. And when that happens, the next source that most people go to will be their family. Most of your family members should hopefully trust you, and you should be familiar with them. And if they have some money, maybe you can explain to them what you're doing, what you're looking for, and how you're going to make money. And you can usually get some type of loan or investment with them. Now, you have to be careful. If your family is going to invest with you and they're using their IRAs and some other tax advantage accounts, you could get in some trouble. So you definitely want to consult with some type of retirement or financial professional. Most self-directed IRA companies will be able to help you with that. You can talk to other attorneys or CPAs, and they'll help you out with that. If they're not using any type of special tax advantage account, if they're just using money they have on hand, then you're good to go. After your family, most people will go to their friends. It's another trusted source. They should trust you. You should already have the rapport built up. You can explain to them what's going on and what you want to do. And if they have money on hand, great. If they have it in tax advantage accounts, IRAs, things like that, no problem there. You don't have to worry about any type of issues there. And then the next source would probably be partners. I'm not a huge fan of partnering per se. As if you have a business and you're going to have a business partner that owns part of the business with you, you can do that. I'm not a huge fan of it, but that's another source you can do. I would much rather do the next one, which are investors. I'll partner with investors all day long on specific deals, but I don't want to partner with anyone on my business here. With Totes and Notes, I want to be able to be in charge here and make the decisions that are going to affect the future of the company. So with investors, it's another great source. There's tons of money sitting on the sidelines, and especially in retirement accounts. There are so many people that just have their money in these accounts sitting on the sidelines or in money markets, earning, maybe 0.5%, a full percent if they're really lucky. And you can generally entice people that are sick of the stock market to come in, find something a little more steady. Real estate historically has always been a fairly good investment. You'll have peaks and valleys here and there. Certain areas may go bad, but in general, as a whole, the sector almost always goes up. And the nice thing is you're always backed by an actual solid asset, as opposed to just paper and digital currency. And you own a percentage of a company. You can't actually go to the company and take whatever your percentage would be of that building. Then the last one on ways to find, it's not exactly a source, it's just a good hint and strategy. Concentrate on finding good deals and helping other people, and then you can generally have people coming to you on their own that'll be interested in what you do. They'll want to learn more, and they may even want to invest with you. So if you concentrate on finding those good deals, it seems like good deals almost always find money, and help other people, and it'll help yourself in the process. Moving on, our final real estate F-bomb is flip. And this is what you're going to end most of your investments with. You got to figure out how are you going to exit the investment. Most of the time, you're not going to want to hold it forever. If you're into rentals, you can hold it for a really long time or forever because you just want to get that cash flow. With notes, you could hold on to them for a long time to get, until the note's paid off if you want to. But specifically in the note business, I generally don't want to hold on to it for 20 plus years for the final payoff. It's pretty rare for me to find something that's going to pay enough in a reinstatement where I'm going to get a higher enough ROI where I want to stay in it forever. Now, my own personal IRA, that's a different story because I'm not having to split profits with an investor. If I find something I like that's really steady, that's returning high teens, maybe even 20% by making payments normally, then I'll hold on to that for a long time. But if I'm having to split or give a percentage to an investor, generally I'm going to want to exit it at some point and get that bigger payoff sooner, so then you can get the velocity of money working with you and reinvest it in something else. So how do you actually go about flipping and exiting the position? Well, if you have the actual property, whether you bought it for flipping purposes or with a note if you had to foreclose on it or the owner walks away, then there's the traditional go to a realtor, sell it to homeowners. That can be a pretty good strategy. It's usually how you're going to make the highest percentage off of the property, selling it to a final homeowner. It can take longer, and with carrying costs, you may not want to wait 6 months to get that extra couple $1,000s. It'll probably be worthwhile to sell the asset at a slightly lower price just to move it within 30 to 60 days again, so you can get that velocity of money working for you. Another way you can generally pull the trigger pretty quickly and have someone buy it, or I guess have someone else pull the trigger, is target investors. If you come across a property that you want to flip, but you don't necessarily want to rehab it, you sell it to a handyman or another flipper that wants to rehab it. You could sell it to a homeowner by by targeting it as a handyman special. Put the financials out there that it makes sense to be a rental. You can generally have investors that'll be interested in that. There's almost always someone interested in getting into the rental market, and it can be generally a pretty good exit strategy. And I'll go into more detail about that in upcoming articles. Then there are exchanges. There are REO exchanges. Specifically with notes, there are a few exchanges with notes where you can sell either non-performing or performing notes. Go on there and list them to see. Watermark Exchange as an example. A lot of servicers even will have notes on there. I believe Madison Management does, along with some others. So you can always go on there and sell them, and it's also a good place to potentially find some deals as well. And you can sell them that way and exit your position. And then if you have some relationships built up with investment funds, you could potentially sell to them. Now, a lot of investment funds aren't going to be looking for really small deals and little small single family homes. They do in some areas, just depending if they're buying heavily in certain cities. Let's approach them with one random single family home in a city that's medium size or smaller. You may not have the best luck with that. Now, if you approach them with a batch, you'd have better luck, or maybe some commercial, then you'd have better luck. But you're going to need to generally have a good relationship or some type of relationship already established with them. And some of these investment funds you may already be buying from in the first place. And if you're doing that, then yeah, you can always, you've already got that relationship built up, you've got that rapport. You could always ask them, hey, what are you guys buying right now? See what areas and types of properties they are buying, whether they're looking to get the mortgage on them, do the note game, or if they want to get the actual physical property and turn it into a rental. You can get their information, and then you can build a list that way. That's it for our first educational video. This is just the introduction to the series. We'll be putting out some more information specifically on finding, funding, and flipping that will go into more detail about each segment of that and what I specifically do with Totes and Notes for the note game. Some of it will be applicable to other types of real estate investing, but we invest in notes here at Totes and Notes, and that's what it's mainly going to be focused on. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me, paul@totesandnotes.com, or you can reach out to me. You can call or text 719-470-1560. And then here I have listed our LinkedIn.com, our Facebook, and our Twitter. Please subscribe and follow me on there. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to reach out to us. This is our first video here, and we want to do a good job, so if you have any suggestions, we're more than open to listening to what you guys have to say. If you have any topics on what you want us to do some educational videos on or articles, please list those as well. You all have a nice evening. We really appreciate your time. Thank you.